Alright, sub 2 and everybody else, what's up? This is Mike with Inside the Flip. I told you guys I was going to start making videos, so I'm about to go ahead and get this thing started. It's going to be the first of many videos, and I'm going to go over the flip process step by step. Like I said, the company we use, their procedures, their costs, their percentages, their points. We're going to go through the whole 9 step by step. So if any of you younger guys in the group or anyone that's already in the group that's done it before, can help me explain it to some of the people who might want to get into this part of real estate. Like I said, that property behind me here in Memphis, Tennessee is my property I just bought. I'm going to have it rehab and flip. I found a company that's doing 100% of they buying it, 100% they buy it, and they pay the rehab costs. And as you see behind me from the previous pictures from video 1, you notice that the roof is jacked up, so they came in and did the roof. And I talked to the contractor. He said that they had to do the roof because they have an inspector to come in and have to inspect. But first they had to have they call that guy, somebody come in before them and check everything else. And since the house has been vacant for more than 6 months, they have to do the full gambit of inspections. So there's going to be a whole bunch of inspections coming through. So he went in and did the roof first. He got his own bin over there, and he came and they did it in one day. So the guy is on top of his game. And I'm going to tell you who he is, and I'm also going to tell you who the company is that's the company that is funding this for me. And also, if you use that company here in Memphis, if you're an investor, you want to do some investing here in Memphis, and you want to use them, I get a $600 referral. So I just want to disclose that up front. So, and they said they're able to do up to, I think he said $1.3 million, and they also do portfolios as well. So they have a criteria for that. So if you guys are interested, just let me know. And if you contact them, just tell them Michael Williams sent you. If I've already talked to them, and they know I'm gonna be sending some people their way. And like I said, I'll get a $600 referral if you guys do something with them. And I'm gonna go, and after this video, I'm gonna go ahead and put together a presentation showing you all the numbers, what I bought it for, what the rehab cost is gonna be, also all the paperwork showing you how much everything is gonna cost. And in this particular neighborhood, this house is from 1940s. Like my mom stayed around the corner, so most of the houses are 1940 and they have the floor furnace. But this one here, I'm gonna have central air put in it. That way I get better value for it. Still, hopefully it'll help with the appraisal, because I do want to sell it to a family. But again, investors are buying this area, so if I can get an investor give me the price I want, I'll probably be selling to an investor. So whoever comes first. But I would like to sell it to a family. Now this is a 2-1 right here in South Memphis, and it's not like I said, it's not a bad area. As you can see, people keep their grass nice and neat, and there's a lot of older people in the area, which is great. I love that. Cause where my mom stays, I bought the house next to her, just so I can control who stays next to her. So, but our video's running kind of long, so I just want to go ahead and go over everything again. And then I'm gonna go to the computer, and we're gonna show you some numbers. And once again, this is Mike with Inside the Flip, which is going to be the name of my videos. This is probably number 2. And I'm probably doing one every 2 weeks. He said the inspection people's probably supposed to, the inspectors are going to be here next week. So they're not going to do anything else this week. They're going to be here next week and do the full gamut of inspections. I've already padded the cost so that all that can be taken care of. I'm glad he suggested that to me, so you don't have to call me and say, okay, we need to pay for this, pay for that inspection, pay for that. We padded the cost, so it's already in there. So whenever he needs to do something like that, he can go ahead and do it. That's what I like about this guy. His name is Mario, and I'll be introducing you to this guy, to him. So let's go to the whiteboard or either the computer, so I can show you what the numbers are on this property. This is Mike with Inside the Flip, a step-by-step rehab journey. This is for a lot of the new people who've never done a flip before. This is my first one. A little background on me: I was a wholesaler. I started my wholesaling in Atlanta, Georgia, in 2015, and I came back to Memphis in 2018 and continued, real estate wholesaling and then I decided to go ahead and get into the flip side of it, because I was up on the mentorship of a flipper there in Atlanta, who showed me exactly what I need to know. Really 7 or 8 more years before I decided to go ahead and go ahead and become a flipper myself. So this is me taking that journey, and I'm looking forward to you guys taking this journey with me. So let's go ahead and get into the presentation. Inside the Flip, a step-by-step rehab guide. So first thing we need to know, especially for the new people, is how to flip a house. I said this is a step-by-step guide for real estate investors. And what is flipping? Like I said, we're gonna go ahead and start from the very beginning. We know some of you guys understand this stuff and you understand a lot of the lingo, but we're gonna go over for the people that is their first time here. Like, we may have some new people to the group, don't know anything about real estate, just want to test it out, or just look at what you have to get, what's involved. And in this presentation, I'm gonna kind of go through everything that's involved in flipping a house. Like I said, this is my first one, but like I said, I worked with a flipper. I helped him to get his some of his clients. That's how I learned some of the ropes. And like I said, I've also been kind of communicating with a lot of people that do flips, contractors, and everybody in the business. I've been like going to these real meetings, meeting flippers, talking to them and know what to expect, and kind of some of the numbers and some of the things that they go through. So let's get it started. Right here is what is flipping. What is flipping? That's basically buying a distressed property below market value. Now, there are all kinds of ways to do this, and a lot of people that have gotten into real estate really have sometimes accidentally get into it, because let's say, for instance, an example is a family member passes away and they leave them a property, and they're like, okay, I don't know what to do. So they do a little research and decide to rent the property out, or either approach somebody and ask them a few questions. That person may decide to buy it and pay them for it, and to their amazement, they're like, what? I can make so many thousands of dollars just by flipping a property that I got for free. No, that's one example of getting a distressed property scot free, or either find it like most people do. Most investors, they do what you call marketing to find those what you call leads. But like I said, we're not. That's a long presentation by itself. But the goal is to find a property that's distressed and below market value. And like I said, that gonna be a whole video. So we're gonna move on, so we don't make the videos longer than it needs to be. Now you're renovating to increase the appeal and value. I know you've seen these old abandoned houses. Then these Hispanic guys come in and fix it up, and next thing you know, it's beautified. Which is a great thing. That model works, and it's still working. Renovating to increase appeal and value. That's the goal of getting a distressed property, so you can fix it up, put it on the open market and sell it for top value, or you sell it to an investor with a slight discount. Now, set up a property in a short time frame. The goal is to get in and out between 2 to 6 months. Mine, hopefully, it's going to be 3 months. It's a small property, like I said, but in every rehab, you're going to run into a problem. Every last one of them. Well, let's say 99.9%. So it be more accurate, because there may be that 0.1% where everything just happens smoothly, but do not expect it. All right, but you get high reward, but there's also high risk, because a lot is on the line. If you get that house under contract, you get a loan for it, whether it's hard money or a private investor. Your goal is to make good on that loan, to pay that loan back, or that private investor back, or your name will become mud in this business. You want to do good business. So success requires strategy, speed, and precision. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so you should define your investment strategy. What that means is you should kind of know what you want to do when you get the property, and sometimes the numbers can determine that. So with this property that I have, I'm going to go ahead and rehab and fix it and put it on the MLS with an agent, so I can try to get top dollar, because I'm going to try to do another one. I have a couple more that I'm working on, possibly 3. And I know one is probably gonna be, I probably wholesale one, and I'll probably flip the other one. But that's the beauty of having different strategies, because there's all kinds of strategies in real estate. So you set your budget and profit goals. My budget for this property was, let me say, I got it for 20. The rehab budget is 44. So I'll be all in about 72,000. My goal is to sell it for 120. Okay. Now the next thing is decide on target markets. Whether you want to do urban, suburban, or rental heavy, etc. I'm doing urban because, like I say, you can get these houses real cheap. And if it's a small house, you get real cheap. Do it cheaply, and you probably can make big profits. Depends on what you sell it for. So you research current trends, buyer demand, style, preferences, and all those things. Like I said, that's a research is a whole nother story to itself. So we're not gonna go into that right now on this video. So you also need to understand your risk tolerance and timeline. If you are not comfortable with possibly losing money, this is not the business for you. But with great reward comes great risk. So you got to have a risk tolerance for this business, or anything where a lot of money is being made. There's going to be some form of risk, and if you can't handle those risks, you get nervous and shaky, and there's not this or any other business that requires risk is not for you. All right, secure financing. So financing can be done several ways. You can have personal financing. You may have saved up your own cash, or you may have access. You may have excellent credit. Like I said, there's lines of credits at the bottom down there. But you may have your personal money. You may have some money in the bank. You may have inherited some money, or you may have just worked and saved up a big lump sum. So you can use that for your financing. You have something called hard money lenders, where they're more expensive, but they're more readily out there. They're out there, and they're throwing money at you. And the way they get their money back is through the property, because they're going to evaluate the property before they lend money on it and let you know this. So if you don't pay them back, they can get the property and still make some money, and make a bigger profit from you not paying them. So in some cases, it's like that. You have private investors or partners. Now, I had a few partners that helped me get the down payment on this property, so I have some partners that I'm gonna have to pay off when I sell this property. Now, you got bank loans or lines of credit, but you got to factor in the acquisition cost, it costs to get the property, the rehab costs. There's also some costs for holding the property, like so many months. Like every month, there's an interest payment that I'm gonna have to pay, which is coming up in August, and mine is like $795 interest payment on the loan until they finish the house, we sell it, and then we pay all their funds back. And then also you have selling costs, which is how much it's gonna cost you to market that house and sell it, which is we gonna give ours to an agent, and the agent is gonna sell it for us. So the agent's for us. So the agent is gonna get 3%, or with the new rules, we may be able to negotiate down even lower. But I'm gonna go ahead and say 3%, and then the buyer. That can be negotiated between me and my agent and the buyer, because they've changed some rules, some real estate rules, because my wife was a real estate agent, so I kind of understand how that works as well. So it is important to kind of understand how real estate agents work as well, because you're going to be doing some business with real estate agents if you really want to grow in this business. Find the right property. A lot of people use the MLS. Like I said, wholesale. You can use other wholesalers. You go to auctions. I stay away from auctions because here, especially here in Memphis, I found that it's a good old, what's called good old boys group. They're gonna steer you all kinds of directions, go wrong, so they get the best deals and you get the crap. So I don't deal with auctions. But you may have a different experience, and you may have a different mindset as far as going that direction. But I don't mess with them. Off-market leads. Most of my leads are off-market, because what I do. The way I get my contracts is I let everybody that I know that I buy houses. I have the t-shirts. I got it on my car. I'll talk about it. I'll talk real estate. I ask people, do you know anybody that's ready to sell? I buy real estate. I'm an investor. I tell everybody. And that has worked for me over these years. Excuse me. Also, look for homes priced 30% plus 30% or more below the ARV. The ARV, which is the after repair value, is how much a house you can possibly sell it for after you repaired it and fixed it up. So that's called the after repair value, and you're gonna find that number for the house that you trying to sell by doing evaluations and research and using houses in that same area, the same type of houses built around about the same year, the same type of style, and how much those houses have sold for within the last 3 to 6 months or a year, if there's nothing within a miles radius of the house. So that's some of the things that you have to learn. You have to learn something about comping. Now we know that in the sub 2 group, you got Jamil Damji and with Astro Flip, and those guys. Matter of fact, you just reach out to them; they help you comp properties. Most of the people, excuse me, in this group know how to comp properties, so that's important too. So you can evaluate location comps, real estate potentials, and some of those tools are Zillow, PropStream, Redfin, Deal Machine. You also have Jerry Norton has a lot of programs. I use a lot of his programs. I've used it's a lot of people in Arizona have their own software, but there's a lot of different softwares that you can use to kind of get feel for what the comps are and the ARV of the property that you're trying to move. Analyze. Okay, a lot of people use the 70% rule. Matter of fact, the lender that I use that same rule, and that is use the 7% rules. ARV is the 7% minus repair costs is the maximum purchase price. In other words, if a house is $100,000, if the after repair value of a house is $100,000, you want to get it for 70,000. So, but basically, the lower you get it, the more profit you make. So you also want to run comparable sales or comps in the area. We talked about that. Get contractor estimates or use a rehab cost calculator, which is those calculators that we saw on the previous page. I kind of knew what the numbers were because I did my research, but my contractor kind of verified that, which is a good thing because he does a lot of houses in his area, and he knows the cost of housing and how much it costs to fix them. So my contractor, use your contractor, pick his brain, because that's gonna be your go-to guy, because he's the one who's really gonna kind of dictate how much you can get for a house by what he does to it. So I'm really giving mine the leeway because he has been working for this company for a while. The company, my lender, for a while. He works with them, and he does roughly 10 to 20 houses per month working with them. All right. Make the purchase. Negotiate with a seller or an agent, and make an offer. Make an offer. Negotiate and make that offer. A lot of people, this is part a lot of especially new people are afraid of negotiating. You thinking you ask too little for a house. No, if they agree immediately, you offer too much. So go way below what you think it should be, and then you take it from there, and then you come up from there. But if you do your homework first, you're gonna know what your numbers are, so you're gonna know where you can go and where you can't go. But there's other strategies, even for the ones who will not match your numbers, but we're not gonna go into that in this video. So you also want to conduct a professional inspection, which is what I did. I paid my contractor $200 to come give me an estimate. I mean, he went over everything and told me this is gonna cost this. Is this what you need to do? This is what you need to do. That's $200 well spent to me because I know exactly what needs to be done, and our numbers. Once I got the contract and got the money for the lending, we knew exactly what we needed to do and how much it was gonna cost. And use a reputable title company and close quickly. There are plenty of title companies out there that close quick because they work with a lot of investors, and they've been working. Most of them are investors themselves. Some of the people who work in the company, a lot of the attorneys are investors as well. People work at the desk are investors. So you want to find a company that's like that knows when they run into any issues with title or another thing in the house, they can help you with because they've seen it before. Another important thing, you need to get secure builder's risk insurance. This was a new thing to me, so I knew about it, but this is my first time going through it. So you have to pretty much pay 6 months in advance for this type of policy, so that anything happens to the house while you're preparing it, it's covered. And depending on the house and the area, that's how much that gonna depends on how much the cost is for the insurance. It's not really as bad as people think it is, though. Plan and manage renovation. Create a detailed scope of work and timeline. Matter of fact, the scope of work was required by my lender. In other words, they want a detailed list of everything that needs to be done. So, and the cost. That's why that $200 I spent was well spent, because the contractor was able to fill that out for them instead of me filling it out. And like I said, it's somebody that they worked with. So that's, like I said, it's really the main reason I chose him, because I had another guy at first, and it didn't work out too well with him. They ended up asking them for a recommendation. They gave me him, so I know it's gonna go a lot. It went a lot smoother with him. Okay, hire licensed contractors and subcontractors, plumbing, electrical. Now that's the thing we're going through next week, because he had to schedule all of these inspections, because the safety person came in and said all these inspections are going to be needed, the full gambit, because the house has been vacant for 6 months. So if you have a house that's been vacant for a while, you're going to need termite, you're going to need plumbing, you're going to need electrical, you're going to need all these inspections, which I want those anyway, because like I said, I want to get top dollar for this property. So I want everything to be on the up and up. I want to have all my certifications. I want to have all the permits that I need. I don't want to run into any problems. So if you pay it on the front end, you don't have to deal with a lot of issues on the back end. I learned that from my mentor in Atlanta that did rehabs. All right, prioritize high ROI upgrades: kitchen, bathroom, floor, paint, curb, appeal. I'm having all that done. New kitchen, new bathroom. Now it has hardwood floors. I'm gonna have him go ahead and I want to keep those hardwood floors. I want him to redo those. He's gonna paint, and we're gonna take care of the landscape and make it look good. I'm gonna re-fence the backyard. Excuse me. Re-fence the backyard and make it look absolutely good. So I can, because my goal is to sell this house before they finish it. Because even though my agent's gonna be marketing, I'm gonna have in a contract where I market it too, because I'm a Facebook marketer. I know how to market, so I'm gonna market my property a certain way. And like I said, my goal is to get it sold before they put the last paintbrush on it. All right, manage progress and stay within budget. With my lender, you have to do that anyway, because as the rehab is done, they're gonna go through a list of stuff that they're gonna release the money for as we go through. When he finish one section, and once he finished that, they're gonna come in and inspect, and then they release the money for the next phase. So that way you don't have to worry about the contractor running out with your money, which is a great way to do it. All right, stage and market the property. Now this is something that I might do, but they have what you call software now, where you can take a picture of a room, and then you can kind of put 3D stuff in there to make it look like the furniture's in there. So that's probably something I'm going to use. Most likely that is something I'm going to use, because staging, professional cleaning and staging is very expensive. So I'll do the AI app, and that kind of put different types of furniture in there and kind of show how it looks, and do it that way. That's been used a lot online anyway, for Zillow, Redfin, and most of these real estate internet sites. They're using it anyway. Okay, hire a real estate agent or list for sale by owner, which I'm gonna hire a real estate agent, because I had her to do the comps for me already. And I told her she was gonna get this deal. So you got to give your real estate agent something for helping you do what you need to do. So she did. She pulled comps for me and gave me a report. So I told her she is gonna get this listing, and I'm gonna keep my word. Even if I sell it, she's still gonna get a commission, because she did. I promised it to her. All right, now it's just the way I do business. I want my business to be an integrity business, and you should too. Okay, invest in high quality listing photos and descriptions. I have a partner that I work with that does high quality photos, so I'm gonna put him to work. Use MLS, Zillow, Redfin, social media, and open houses. Most definitely gonna have an open house. If I don't sell it before they're finished, of course it's gonna be on MLS with my agent, Redfin, and Zillow. So it is gonna be in those platforms. All right, then sell and close. Review offers and choose the strongest one, not always the highest. This is my case. I really need and want it to be the highest, but my goal is between 103 and 120. With 105 and 120. With 105, I still can make right at 35, almost $40,000 profit. So that's what I'm looking at. I prepare for inspection and appraisal. Of course, you're gonna have to have an appraisal because if I sell to an end buyer that's a family that's getting along, they're gonna have to see that appraisal. And they're gonna go by the appraised value, and if it's lower than I want it to be, I'm gonna have to look at another route. Address any last minute repairs or concessions. Of course, that's what you call follow up. Close the sale and collect your profits. That's pretty much the process in a nutshell. Let's go see what the other. Okay, evaluate, repeat, analyze your profit margin versus original goal. Review what worked and what didn't work. In fact, I'm going to use this first one. Excuse me, to get smarter and stronger in this business, to know what to do and what not to do for my next one, because my goal is to stay in the flipping, and like I said, to keep it going and to build a portfolio later on with some rental properties. So adjust your system for the next flip and grow your network and reputation. And there's the goal. Now, other important details. Common pitfalls to avoid. Understanding renovation costs. Like I said, do your research. Overpaying for a property. That is why it is important to know how to comp properties and know something about repairs, because depending on the area, from talking to contractors, there's a certain amount of money per square foot for houses in certain areas. Like I know the Memphis area, that usually, you talking about, let's say for instance, a full renovation, depending on the house size, it's usually $30 to $35 per square foot. If you got a 2,000 square house and needs a full rehab, you do $30 times 2,000. See that how it works? 2,000 times 30. Yeah, 2,000 times 30. That should give you approximate or close number to how much it would cost to rehab that house. That's what I learned from some contractors. Okay, holding it too long on the market. That's why you gotta get your marketing gotta be on point so you can move that thing quickly. Because if I don't move it quickly, my lender is gonna go up on the interest payments after the third month. They go up on the interest payments. So it'd be just like you rent it. All right. Not pulling permits can delay and kill deals. That's why I told this contractor, whatever permits you got to pull. So we kind of factored in that cost at the very beginning, so he don't have to come back to me for anything like that. It's already in the cost. If I pay him a little extra than and he supposed to get, so be it. There's something called a fudge factor, which is usually about $5,000. Poor contract management. I don't have to worry about that. So pro tips for flipping success. I always have a plan B. Plan B, I can rent it out. Like I said, pay that higher interest rate, the highest interest to the lender, and hopefully I can lend out for more than what they're renting me for, or lease option, but still got to pay that higher rent. Build a solid team. Okay, like I said, I got my agent, I got my contractor, and that contractor has some inspectors. I got a lender. And I got an inspector too that I used on a previous property that I looked at. I used him twice already, so I'm in his Rolodex. Walk every property in person before buying. I know a lot of people are doing online stuff, so they can't do that. But so sometimes, if you're in another state, they'll contact people to walk it for them. They'll probably pay them to walk the thing for them. Or like a lot of people in this group, if somebody needs something in Memphis, sometimes I go by and take pictures for them, tell them about the neighborhood, take some pictures. I got a photographer guy that'll do that for you for a fee, and sometimes I'll tell you about a neighborhood, or I might even go by and take pictures of a house and talk to the neighbor for you. That's the type of stuff I do if you're an investor and you want to invest in Memphis. Also, my lender is going to be available to people in this group. We'll talk about that a little more on a later video. All right, stay disciplined. Don't get emotionally attached to a house. Never get emotionally attached to a house. It's business. Keep it business. Tips and resources: apps, deal machine, prop string, Zillow, Trillo for project management. Some of y'all are familiar with some of those programs. Like I said, Jeremy Norton has a lot of programs as well. Cody Spurber has programs, and of course, our boy Pace Morby has programs now, and a lot of people in the group have their own calculator. So use those if you can. And calculator, Bigger Pockets Rehab Estimator. I'm a member of Bigger Pockets. Matter of fact, my first deal was sold to an investor on Bigger Pockets in Atlanta. ARV they have ARV calculators on it too. Matter of fact, I have to get back on Bigger Pockets and kind of expand my my buyers list again. Use real estate attorneys and local regulations. That's what your title company for. That's why you want to be with a reputable title company and go to those local reals. If you're not in a large city that has a local real, go to the cities closest to you and go to those reals. That's where you're going to meet your investors, your lenders, your money people, your contractors, your clean out people. I mean, that's where you're going to meet all the people you need to do this business. So go to those local reals. Take that time out. Or mine here was like $200 a year. Oh, get that out the way. It was $200 a year. So money well spent, because you're putting yourself in a room with millionaires and possibly billionaires that can help you achieve your goals. Build relationships with those people. Build relationships with those people. That's all I can tell you. Important thing. All right, sum it all up. Flip process, strategy and financing. Find and analyze deals. That's what we went over. Purchase smart. We went over that. Renovate on budget. Sell for profit. Learn and repeat. That concludes this video on what exactly is flipping a house. Let's go all the way back up here. How to flip a house, step-by-step guide. And in the next video, at the end of the next video, I'm going to show you guys all the stuff I just showed you in this presentation. I'm going to show you how I bought the house, how we wanted to look, how I met my contractor, how I got this deal. I'm going to show you the numbers, how much, I'm going to go list by each, the numbers, how much it costs. I'm going to show you the scope of work, which breaks down every item that needs to be repaired and how much it costs, which is the scope of work, which is a very important part of this whole thing, which the contractor does, and which is why I paid him the $200 scope of work. So, but like I said, I'm going to show you all the stuff I did, all the stuff that's in this presentation. I'm going to show you the paperwork to it. I'm going to show you some parts of the contract that I got with the lender, because I'm sure some of that stuff they have is proprietary and they don't want to show. So I'm going to find out how much I can show you guys, and then I'm going to get with you guys and show you who to call if you want to do some deals in Memphis, and if you want to use them, because like I said, they do 100% of buying the property and 100% of rehab if the numbers are right for the property, and I get $600 every time they use somebody. So I'm going to put something together just for that too. So they gave me the okay for that. So this concludes this presentation. So this is Mike with NSide the Flip, a step-by-step rehab journey, signing out until the next video. And don't forget to like and share, and check out some of the other videos that are somewhere on this video. They may be at the top or at the bottom. So if it's on Facebook, like and share. If it's on YouTube, like and share. That helps with the algorithm. It helps me to build this channel so we can get this out to more people and share this information. So this is Mike with NSide the Flip, out.